Hi, we're back again. Yes, welcome along to the transfer show. Premier League clubs have today hit spending of £1.8 billion this summer, and there's still more than 3 weeks to go. Our football correspondent, Rob Dorset, reporter Dharmesh Sheth here to dissect and discuss the day's top story. Alexander Isak's future is far more uncertain. And Eddie Howe has banished the player from training with the first team at Newcastle and also the club barbecue. Alexander Isak is training away from the first team squad. So how does this one play out? Well, our reporter Keith Downey has the latest.
The night's meeting between Eddie Howe and Alexander Isak for the first time since both men returned from their pre-season training camps will be crucial to that. Without doubt, Eddie Howe is disappointed with the conduct of his star striker, travelling to Spain on his own individual training camp instead of being with the rest of the squad on their tour of Asia. And the fact that Eddie Howe found that out through the media, I think, is the most galling thing of all. Howe's response was today to tell Isak to turn up to report at 4 o'clock for a meeting and for his own individual training and recuperation, while the rest of the squad throughout the day had their families in for a team bonding session. So it was interesting to see Isak arrive today at 4 o'clock just as the rest of the players were leaving. Isak, the only player uninvited. But where does it leave the Isak situation? Well, we've been telling you all along that Newcastle will not allow him to leave without a replacement. Benjamin Sesko was supposed to be that man. It looks as though he's headed for Manchester United. So I can foresee a situation where Alexander Isak starts the season in the black and white of Newcastle unless they have another potential striker signing up their sleeve.
Keith Downey there. Right, Rob, why don't they just cash in now and get someone else?
What, cash in on Isak?
Yeah.
Because they don't want him to go.
But he's really unhappy.
He is at the moment.
He's not even allowed to go to the barbecue.
Yeah, I quite fancy going to Newcastle's family barbecue. Sounds like it was probably quite a good day. Listen, I totally get what you're saying, but it's not that simple, is it? You have to look at the fact that Alexander Isak is...
Liverpool transfer state of play on Alexander Isak and Bradley Barcola. Liverpool have agreed to sell Darwin Núñez to Al Hilal in a deal worth in excess of £50 million as they continue to pursue a replacement with Newcastle striker Alexander Isak. Their top target Liverpool have finalized an agreement to send Darwin Núñez to Saudi Pro League giants Al Hilal, a move that immediately shifts their transfer focus toward finding a suitable successor in attack. At the top of their wish list sits Newcastle United's star forward Alexander Isak. However, the Anfield hierarchy are determined not to panic buy if negotiations fail. Their stance is simple. Only pursue another striker in this window if a player who fits their exact profile becomes genuinely attainable. Núñez, 26, is due to fly to Germany on Thursday to complete his medical with Al Hilal, who are using Europe as their base for preseason training. The Saudi club will pay an initial £46 million, $61.7 million, with performance-based add-ons potentially taking the deal beyond £50 million, $67 million. This is a significant drop from the £65 million, $87.2 million Liverpool paid Benfica in 2022, an outlay that eventually rose to £85 million, $114 million. With bonuses, the Reds have already invested heavily this summer, bringing in Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt in a package worth up to £79 million, $106 million. But with Núñez now gone, Luis Diaz also departed. In the tragic passing of Diogo Jota in a road accident, Liverpool's attacking depth has been severely hit. This is why Isak has become their prime target, a ready-made starter, not a rotation piece. They will only commit if the valuation is right and the deal can realistically be completed before the window closes. This approach is nothing new for Liverpool. In the past, they have walked away from potential deals rather than compromise there. Strategies such as when they delayed the signing of Virgil van Dijk in 2017, or when Martin Zubamendi opted to stay at Real Sociedad last summer. Recently, PSG winger Bradley Barcola, 22, has been mentioned as a possible alternative to Isak, with the idea that Ekitike would lead the line. But despite the interest, there is no active move for the Frenchman, and PSG are unlikely to sanction his exit. Liverpool also feel adding a left-sided attacker of Barcola's profile could block the pathway of 17-year-old prospect Rio Ngumohananez departs Anfield after 3 seasons. Having arrived as a Jurgen Klopp favorite, thanks to his standout displays against Liverpool in the Champions League. Yet, despite flashes of brilliance, he never consistently showed the ruthless finishing needed to cement a starting spot. In January, amid interest from Al Nassr and others, the Uruguayan forward expressed his desire to leave, but Liverpool convinced him to stay for the remainder of their campaign in pursuit of domestic and European honors. Napoli's approach earlier this summer was turned down as well until Al Hilal's bid matched Liverpool's demands. In Saudi Arabia, Nans will reportedly earn around £400,000 per week, $536,500. Liverpool's £110 million. $147.5 million bid for Isak was rejected last week, and they are holding off from submitting an improved offer, one that would likely break the British transfer record. Newcastle are unwilling to negotiate until they secure their own replacement. But their top candidate RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko is now in talks with Manchester United. Isa, 25, is currently recovering from a thigh injury and is training separately from Newcastle's first-team squad. This follows a controversial decision to work out at his former club Real Sociedad, while the Magpies were on a Far East tour, a move that irritated manager Eddie Howe. Now, an unexpected twist could emerge. Liverpool may try to hijack Newcastle's pursuit of Brentford's Yoane Wissa, the DR Congo striker, who has made clear his wish to join a Champions League side, has been pushing for an exit after Brentford turned down Newcastle's initial approach. The Magpies are still confident of landing Wissa, but their summer has been littered with setbacks in the transfer market, and they are already wrestling with the uncertainty surrounding Isak's future. Meanwhile, Liverpool's need for attacking reinforcements, especially after losing Nunez and Jota, means Wissa could be seen as a logical plan B. Brentford, for their part, are willing to cash in once they have secured a replacement for their 20-goal marksman. Reports suggest they value Wissa at around £50 million, figure Liverpool might consider acceptable if their Isak pursuit collapses. For now, the Merseyside club remain focused on their top target, but with the striker market's domino effect in full swing, their contingency plans could soon be tested. Should Wissa become the chosen alternative? It would not only strengthen Liverpool's front line, but also deal Newcastle yet another frustrating blow in an already turbulent transfer window. Liverpool have been busy splashing the cash in this summer's transfer market, yet they've also managed to recoup a substantial portion of their outlay through player sales, most recently by finalizing Tyler Morton's move to Lyon. The reigning Premier League champions have significantly bolstered the squad that made Arne Slot's debut season so memorable, bringing in high-profile signings such as Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, and Hugo Ekitike. Those deals have not come cheap, with Wirtz alone arriving in a package worth a new British transfer record. More arrivals are still expected before the window closes next month. With recent sales helping to fund them, Morton switched to Lyon has reportedly brought in £15 million, including add-ons. And Liverpool have smartly retained a 20% sell-on clause, meaning they'll profit further if the midfielder thrives in France and moves again. Morton's departure follows the exits of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Cowie Men Kelleher, Nat Phillips, Yarel Quansah, and Luis Diaz, raising a combined £6 million. But the outgoings are not finished yet. Darwin Nunez has already agreed terms with Al Hilal in a deal worth £46 million up front, with add-ons set to increase the total. Federico Chiesa is also expected to leave after barely featuring under Slot following his bargain rival from Juventus last summer. These sales could pave the way for Liverpool to land their #1 transfer target before the 1st of September. Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak. The Sweden international is open to the move, but Newcastle remain reluctant to sell their top forward. Relations between club and player have become strained. However, after Isak traveled to Spain last week to train on his own, on Wednesday, he was ordered to train away from the squad and excluded from a team bonding event earlier in the day. The Magpies will not sanction a sale without first signing a top-quality replacement, but they appear set to miss out on Benjamin Sesko, with the Slovenian leaning toward a move to Manchester United. It caps off a frustrating summer in which Newcastle have also failed to land other attacking targets, such as Hugo Ekitike, Liam Delap, and Brian Bumo. For Morton, his departure ends a 15-year association with Liverpool. The 22-year-old joined the club's academy at the age of 7, made his senior debut in 2021, and went on to make 14 first-team appearances. His close friend Harvey Elliott, who joined the Reds from Fulham in 2019, paid tribute with a heartfelt message on Instagram, writing, "My brother Tyler Morton, so proud my mate. Deserve it more than anyone," alongside 2 red heart emojis. Elliott's own future, however, is now under discussion. RB Leipzig are keen to sign him as a possible replacement for Xavi.